and good morning from Seville. I've had 2 nights in Seville and I've enjoyed every minute. It's been great. It's an absolutely beautiful city, but it's time to head on back to Malaga. So that's what I'm doing this morning. I'm just going to let the Seville tram go by. The trams here at Seville are all battery electric. They have contact points up above the stops, and with a long station stop at each end of the run, I'm guessing that's enough to provide the power they need. Something else about Seville is, yes, there are a lot of oranges. And actually, I had a comedy moment about 5 minutes ago when I was walking behind a lady who very nearly fell by slipping on an orange peel. Well, it's rained a lot this morning, but it's sort of fairing up a bit, but I still expect quite a rainy train ride. So today I'm not going to be going the quickest way to Malaga, which is to go high speed to Cordoba and then high speed down to Malaga. I'm taking the more leisurely route on the Media Distancia, which will take me direct from Seville to Malaga, but take a bit longer. And actually the MD services, I went on one yesterday to Cadiz, and they're very comfortable, or at least they're very smooth, and haven't had any complaints yet, so let's try this one out. I was hoping for some very good views along the way, as it's a much more hilly route than going on the high-speed line, but it remains to be seen whether or not the weather's good enough to actually give us that. No doubt my editor has been providing you with some cutaway views of Seville while we've been talking, so I guess there's nothing left to say than should we get up to Seville Santa Justa and see how this one goes. Well, the conical Christmas tree thing outside the station does look a whole lot better if you look at it at night. This will be a comparatively short look at Seville Santa Justa station, as we've had a much longer look in my video of the ride down to Cadiz. We've already seen Seville Cathedral. Here's Seville's cathedral to train travel. We've got 20 minutes until the train leaves, and I think our platform's being called about now. So it's probably time for you and VoiceOver Man to have a look at our route for today. Well, our cross-country route from Seville Santa Justa will go underground to San Bernardo and then pop out through the suburbs of Seville as far as Dos Hermanas, and take an easterly route through the Spanish countryside to Arrajal, Marchena, Osuna, Pedrera, and then after briefly kissing the high-speed line at Antequera Santa Ana, we will carry on in a southerly direction, and then the line will go down the valley of the Río Guadalhorce, skirting the Caminito del Rey at El Churro, and then Las Maizas and Alora, and then making its way into Málaga Maria Zambrano. The approximate distance of this journey is 156 kilometres or 96 miles, and it will take us 2 hours and 54 minutes. Right, let's get down to platform 10 and join our train. Today we're going to be riding on a Renfe Class 599 3-car diesel multiple unit, which was built by CAF between 2009 and 2011. I have a reserved seat in the central level boarding section of the train, so let's hop on. In fact, I'm right here in the accessible seating section. The Renfe app has allocated me this seat, and as the train is so busy today, this'll have to do. At least it comes with unlimited legroom. And we're off on our little trek across the Spanish countryside. And after a short stop underground at Seville San Bernardo, we're on our way through the southern suburbs of Seville. And passing under the SE40 motorway heralds our arrival into Dos Hermanas. The sky looks pretty brooding as we pass some solar panels in the fields. Let's hope the weather holds up. Just before Utrera, we swing eastbound along the single track line that cuts across the countryside towards Antequera, and the ride definitely gets bumpier. Although at least the weather is still holding up. Arahal is an Arabic term meaning place in the path where stopping to rest, and our train takes the opportunity to do just that. But now we've had our breather and it's time to press creakily on for Málaga. Marchena is another town whose name reflects the original Moorish Marchena, meaning of the olive trees. Marchena is also the westernmost boundary of the high-speed line that never was. Once out of Marchena, we see for the first time the pale gravel of something very straight and very level running near our tracks. It looks like an old abandoned railway, but the truth is, it's not that old. Because out here in the countryside of Andalucia sits the remnants of a Spanish high-speed line that was never completed, and it certainly makes for a slightly odd railway map. The Antequera to Seville high-speed line was commenced in around 2007 with a budget of €1.1 billion. And after completing 50 bridges and viaducts and a 77-kilometre section of the trackbed between Antequera and Marchena, the government ran out of money, and the project has been shelved since 2011. Although there are sections where our Iberian gauge line will now use the abandoned trackbed. And indeed, for a short time, the track gets smooth and straight as we make use of a little section of the abandoned high-speed route. Osuna is where apparently some of Game of Thrones was filmed. And now I think of it, I do recall a scene where Tyrion Lannister got very drunk and missed the 10:45 to Seville. Osuna, though, is definitely a lovely little country station. And once more we get to hop on a bit of ex-high-speed line trackbed, although we aren't doing any kind of high speed, it must be said. In the distance we can see the Sierra del Baquero mountains as we run into Pedrera. Pedrera is another cute little station that you'll find on this line. I must say the aloe vera is very impressive round here. Although there's no staffed catering, there are vending machines in the vestibule. And here we can see the old classic line with the rails pulled up as we rejoin some high-speed section. It really does feel weird to be on this partially built railway. There's just so much high-speed infrastructure just sitting out here in the middle of the countryside. Just north of Antequera Santa Ana, we join the Cordoba to Malaga Classic line. And then we run into the westernmost Iberian gauge platforms at Antequera Santa Ana. The station was the terminus of the high-speed line when it was opened, and it took another year to complete the extension on to Malaga. It's a very grand station given that it only handles around 600,000 passengers a year. We leave the high-speed line to its own devices now and pass one of the automatic gauge changing facilities, and we can see different gauge locomotives at each side awaiting their next duties. Beyond the gauge changer, the Iberian line for Granada snakes away eastwards as we carry on south, and the mountains lie before us, and sadly, also the bad weather. Bobadilla is also a junction station as the line for Algeciras peels off here in a southwesterly direction. From now on, things are going to get hilly as we aim for the valley of the Río Guadalhorce and the Caminito del Rey. I'm pretty sure I need to come back and look out of the other side of the train at the valley of the Río Guadalhorce, but this view is pretty cool. El Chorro is the station for the Caminito del Rey. And as we climb, we get up into the rain clouds. And now we'll track that river that will become our constant companion from here all the way into Málaga. Las Mellizas translates as the twins, but I can't find anything to tell me where the name comes from, so do let me know in the comments if you know the origin of the name. I hope that at least you can see a little of the view through these very rainy windows. Alhora is famous for its hilltop castle, although we'd have to look out of the other side of the train to see it. Nevertheless, this view across the river valley to the mountains is pretty good. There's no need for us to stop at Pizarra or any of the intermediate stations, as they're all served by Malaga's Cercanías Line C2. I've been looking out the window so much I've not even spared a thought about the seat, so let's have a quick tour. Well, the seats are okay. They're comfortable enough for these shortest journeys, and they do come with retractable armrests which have the power supplies underneath. And even though we're in standard class, there's still a recline function. So all in all, a fairly decent product. And soon we pair up with the high-speed line for the final run into Málaga. My ride today cost me €24.95 or £21.95 for my standard class adult single, which I think is reasonable value for a journey of this distance. Going via the high speed line can cut the journey time down to 2 hours, but it will cost roughly double. And here we are, pulling into Málaga Maria Zambrano. And we arrive into Málaga at 14:34, spot on schedule. Right, as the train's been very busy, I shall take the opportunity to walk through the empty carriage. We can see that it's mostly airline seating in this particular coach, with a few big tables, and the seats look very clean and serviceable, and the airline seats do seem to have very ample legroom. And the table array looks a pretty decent offering. Right, time I alighted the train. And here we are, we've made it to Málaga. And that was a very beautiful ride. So I would certainly advise anybody who wants to go between Seville and Málaga to use this train to go through the mountains. Hopefully the video, as I've edited it up and you've just seen, comes out showing really what a stunning trip it is. Yeah, it might take an extra hour, but you know, if you've got the time, then in the end, what's not to like? I'm now going to check into my Easy hotel before I catch my Easy jet tomorrow, and that's another trip and another journey. In the meantime, here we are at Maria Zambrano in the lovely Málaga, and it leaves me just to say, well, thank you all very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, then give it a like and leave me a comment as well. Give me some ideas about what you'd like to see me doing. But most importantly, please subscribe to the channel. I release a video every Friday, and I'm looking forward to doing some more trips, and hopefully you can join me on them too. But in the meantime, from Málaga Station, it's goodbye and thank you very much for watching.